Let's do it. Let's do it. What's up, guys? It is Thursday. It is the 28th of March in the year of our Lord 2019. I don't know why I keep saying that. I feel like it's a Game of Thrones. I've been watching Game of Thrones too much. Let's get some questions for today. How about that? How about that? Raymond says, first dates. Recently, I had a girl pick the first date. All right. I don't know why that's your strategy, Ray, but you had a girl pick the first date. Hey, you pick, honey. I don't like that general idea because it just really gives me a lack of control of logistics. I don't know where the place is, if it's fun, if it's good, if I like it, if it's close, if it works logistically, if it's something I want to do. I also don't want to come off as a guy who is, hey, what do you want to do? You pick something. Those are all submissive moves. I like the date to feel like, I've been wanting to check out this place or do this thing. You want to come along, right? Because that takes the onus of responsibility for whether or not the activity is good, and it puts it on me, not the girl. Because the girl's fear is always, well, what if I pick something that he doesn't like, okay? The same way that you're worried about, what if I pick something that she doesn't like, actually the fear is the opposite, and it's more profound on her end. She believes more she's worried more about you not liking it, right? Than you are about her not liking it. Or even if you guys think about who's going to like it or not like it more or less or whatever, it still doesn't matter because it's about the way she feels about the first date, okay? So even that first part, I let the girl pick the first date, that makes no sense, and I do not advocate that, Ray, just so you know. I want you to pick the first date for something you want to do, and I want you to invite her along for the ride if she wants to come, okay? I want you to follow the 3 first dates story if you can. Okay, so let's go back to the question. Sorry, we didn't get very far. All right, first dates. Recently, I had a girl pick the first date. She wanted to go out to grab dinner. However, she picked an upscale place, a very expensive place. Well, here comes a problem, right? If it's very expensive, what are you going to do? So first mistake, letting the girl pick. Second mistake, if it's very expensive and that's not cool with you, you have to say something. So if I was to say, hey, I don't know, pick a place. And the girl's like, what do you think about, like, what's the most expensive place I can think of here in LA? I mean, if this chick was like, you know, picking something that would cost $200, if she's like, or $250, she's like, let's go to the Palm, right, in Beverly Hills. I eat there like once a year, maybe for my birthday, and but that's like it. I'm not taking a girl on a $250 date for a first date. I'm taking the girl to, like, you know, a bar for like a beer that I buy for her, right? That's it. Like I'm spending like $12, right? On a cocktail for her or something, or like $9 on a beer. I'm not spending $250 on a meal with a girl on the first date. In fact, what do I advocate on 3 first dates? I think the dinner date is the second one, right? And then at home is the third one. Let me make sure and see what I wrote here. Just to make sure I'm not contradicting myself, I'm going to look this up. All right, let's see here. While this loads. Oh, sorry, I don't have access to month 1. Hold on, let me change my thing here. Yes, I do, bitch. I have access to my own shit. All right, let's see here. I think that's right. I think 3 first dates I advocate. Let me see here. Oh, I say dinner date on the first one. Okay. Dinner date on the first one. Dinner date, team building date, and then the closer. So I stand corrected. I guess that's a testament to what I really do in real life. I mean, when I was rotationing all the time, right? When I had like a bunch of girls and I'm going on a bunch of dates and I'm arranging new stuff all the time, it gets pretty expensive if you want to start having dinner dates. Even if you go, especially in Hollywood, if you go to like some regular place, like if I go to Jones Bar, a place I like, it's going to be $120 for a date, right? So I'm not doing that for like every girl, or like at the minimum $100. What I was generally doing was taking a girl to a bar and having a cocktail and buying her first drink, right? So although I advocate in the 3 First Dates tutorial to go on dinner, you don't have to go to dinner, especially if you're going on a lot of dates, right? I'm a guy who was going on a lot of dates, and that would be very expensive. Like, for instance, if I go out and I get, like when I go out, I get 7 numbers in a night. Like that's like 4 to 7 numbers. If I'm just asking for every girl's number, I'll get more. But generally, I would get 4 to 7 solid numbers a night. And out of those 4 to 7 numbers, you know, if I did that 2 weekends or 2 nights in a weekend, I'd have like, you know, what is that? 8 to 15 number. We'll call it 10 numbers. If I got 10 numbers on a weekend, then I would text those girls. And general stats would be you get about, if half respond, you're the champion of the planet. Generally, I would get like, I would get about half to respond, and I would be upset about that. And Brad used to tell me like, no, half is great. So if half the girls are responding to you, that's great. And if half of those are going on a date with you, that's fucking fantastic, right? So if I was getting 2 or 3 dates out of those 10, and I was going on those 2 or 3 dates, that would be $300 a week for just dinner dates. That's expensive. However, 3 $9 beers is $20 a week, right? So that's really what I was doing. And I'd be going on dates. I mean, I was out with girls back then. I was out with girls like lots of nights, man. Like 4 nights a week, I'd be out meeting girls, getting girls, going on dates 4 nights a week, right? And that was because I brought it down because I wanted to have a couple nights for myself in a week, right? So if you're going on that many dates, you might have to modify. All right, so back to Ray's question, since I've thoroughly beaten to death the first couple sentences of it. So Ray says, what's a smooth way to tell the girl you'd rather not do something like that and you'd rather do something less expensive, like grab a drink or go for a walk? Okay, so you can't be smooth, right? Like what I have to do is, like, you have to be blunt, okay? So the reason I'm pausing here is because I'm thinking over Ray's game. And Ray, you're asking a question, and I want to modify this for you, and then I want to give a general answer for everybody. So in general, you want to frankly and clearly go through this stuff, right? And you want to give the girl the idea that you are not a source of money, okay? If you were to go out, if you're like, hey, what do you want to do? And then she says some expensive place, and then you do the nice guy thing, and you feel like if you take her out, that that'll be the best move, and you hope that you'll get something out of that. Like, man, if I take her to this place, maybe she'll like me more, and maybe I'll get to kiss her. Maybe that'll make my game better, okay? That's a huge error, because what you're doing is you are setting up what your relationship is kind of going to be like, okay? And you're setting expectations in the beginning, like with almost everything that you do. So if you decide at the beginning of your relationship that you're just going to buy her some expensive ass dinner for nothing on the first date, what's going to be special about your anniversary or her birthday, right? If you're going to fucking catch in the seafood place in Manhattan or in the meatpacking district, and it costs $450 for your fucking king crab leg dinner with wine, then how are you going to up that, right? Like, not only, like, even if you have the money, how are you going to do better? That's going to be like a norm for you. Like, that's expensive. That's an expensive lifestyle. And I am certainly not doing that with a girl on the first date, like, no matter what. Okay. So that said, what's a smooth way to tell her you'd rather do something less expensive, like grab a drink? Okay. So let's say that I do make the error and I say, slow down there. Let's say that I do make an error and I tell this girl that it's going to be okay to, hey, just where do you want to go out to eat? And she picks this expensive ass place, right? The first thing I'm going to say is, let me go through this in my head. Hey, what do you want to do to eat? I was thinking we go to dinner somewhere. You got any ideas? And she says, yeah, let's go to fucking Palm in Beverly Hills. I'd be like, I would immediately have an objection to that. I'd be like, what do you think I am? Fucking Daddy Warbucks over here? I was thinking like grabbing a beer somewhere. How about that? Like, and if the girl's like, well, you said dinner, I'd be like, all right, well, yeah, we can do dinner, but let's do like a regular place. Let's not do like the fucking $500 place. How about that? Like, I'm cool with that kind of a thing for like, I don't know, anniversary or your birthday or some shit, but I certainly can't do it like every fucking meal, like our first meal. I don't even know if I like you yet. Shit, you know? Like I would say that right away and I would blare into it just like I did. I'd be like, geez, what kind of dudes are you dating? I don't know what kind of guys they are, but I'm not one of those guys. Like, I don't have that kind of money, you know? That's even a harsh way to say it. I don't like saying I don't have that kind of money. I like saying it the way I said the first time. I'd be like, whoa, what am I, Daddy Warbucks? Fuck, I ain't going to that place. Like, I've never even been there, right? I'd be like, why don't we choose a regular place for normal people? Or you know, that's the problem with not just offering a place, right? That's what you get yourself into, all these weird circumstances that don't have to be there. That's why that's one of the many reasons I just offer the place in the first place. Hey, I was thinking about going to this spot, right? Like you could choose, you know, there's a place called One Up in Sherman Oaks here in Los Angeles. And One Up is a bar that serves, you know, apps and I'm sure some food and they have beers. But in the back, they've got like a free arcade. So you've got like Pac-Man and all those stand-up arcade games that you just play for free if you're there drinking a beer, right? So that style of experience could be, hey, you know, I'll grab us an app and a fucking beer and it's going to be like 30, 40 bucks or 20 bucks or whatever it is, something reasonable. And you can still have like a fun time, right? And be interactive. And there's always a like, you know, if you're playing a game of pool or something, there's always like a good shot or, oh my God, you suck at video games or things like that that are really going to help you continue conversation throughout your date, right? Those are very beneficial things for a date, right? So, Ray, when you ask what's a smooth way to tell this girl you'd rather do something less expensive, there is no smooth way. You're not going to smooth your way into it. Like, hey, do you want to go out to eat? Sure. Okay, where do you want to eat? And then she's like, this expensive ass place. And then you're like, yeah, but I was thinking we could go for a walk. Or like, I mean, you can't fucking do that. You already said to this girl that you're going to take her out to dinner, and then you asked her where. These are mistakes, so don't do them. So there is no smooth way to do that. Like, I get the feeling, Ray, that this is another instance of nice guy shit, okay? A nice guy thinks that if he does what the girl wants or likes or a good version of that, he has a better chance of scoring, okay? Oh, if I just buy her this expensive dinner or do what she wants to do, maybe I'll have a better shot at scoring with her. And that logic is fucking wrong. It's wrong. You'll have a better chance of scoring with the girl if you effectively communicate who you are and what you will and won't do really quickly, because that's what a man does. A man says, nah, that's not me. I'm not that kind of guy. You're going to have to find a fucking different guy. What am I, a doctor? Go find a fucking doctor. Go to that expensive place. I was going to take you to the crusty bar down the street. Like, I just met you, right? The idea is that I'm just accurately describing who and what I am. I'm not trying to be something I'm not. I'm not trying to like give her some high level of care and comfort that I don't even have for myself. I'm just not doing that, right? If you make a decent wage and you can afford a $250 meal, still, why in the fuck would you do that to a girl you just met, right? It's different if you're spending like, you know, 50 to 100 bucks. I get it. You know, you're making 125K a year and you got, you know, 100 bucks to spend here or there. Go for it. You know, if that's like, but I wouldn't do something that's like on the level of extravagance for you for a girl on her first date. I think that's ridiculous. So again, if you feel like you're doing stuff to like in hopes that this girl will bang you, oh, you know what, if maybe I'll splurge for an extra dinner this time because if I get the nicer dinner for this girl, maybe she'll be more likely to bang me. That's incorrect logic. And it's you making a nice guy contract. They call it like an unspoken contract. It's like, hey, I'll meet some needs for you that you didn't ask me to meet and that I didn't, you know, I'll just try to meet whatever needs I think you have in hopes that you'll meet my sexual needs, right? That is a nice guy contract, and that is not something that you should be engaging in on any level. You should be clear and direct about your communication, and you should do so in a way to let the girl know what kind of a guy you are and what you like. Who are you? Like, I'm a guy who goes out to shitty bars with girls and has a couple drinks and tries to bang them, right? That's who I am. This girl, like when I show up in an old muscle car that's kind of beat up and I'm wearing a fucking leather jacket and I'm kind of aggressive sexually, kind of very aggressive sexually, right? This girl's going to get a really clear idea what kind of a guy I am. She's like, you know, oh, this guy's cool. He's living fast. He doesn't have tons of money. I'm not going to expect a lot of dinners, but this guy's going to be fun and cool, and he's going to look cool, and that's going to be the experience I get, right? Fun and sex. That's what we offer. So that's what I try to, you know, that's the box I want her to put me in right away. Maybe that's a good way to say it, right? You don't want this girl putting you in the money box. Wow, I can get nice dinners from this guy. Because then, you know what? Let's say that this chick doesn't even like you after the first date. Does she want to go to a fucking $250 dinner again? Fuck yeah, she does. She might literally, and I've heard girls say this who I've dated in the same room. Like I've heard, like if I'm in the room with a girl I'm dating and her friend's there and they're roommates and they're chatting, I have heard these words come out of a girl's mouth before. Well, like, I don't know if I really liked him, but he fucking took me out to a nice dinner. Like, I'll take another one of those, right? And that's fucked up, but I mean, if a chick was taking me to a $250 dinner, I'd fucking want to go on date number 2. Even if she's disgusting, I'd be like, yeah, do I like $250 dinners? You're fucking right, I do, right? But you don't want her putting you in that box, right? You want a girl going out with you because she likes you, right? You don't want her to think that you're like pockets, you know, $100 bills are flying out of your pockets and shit. Like, that's not good for your cause. Even if they are, even if you got plenty of money, it's not good for you to show that right away, right? So the answer is, what's the smooth way to tell her? You don't. You just lead with it and you frankly tell that, yeah, like his next question is, would you frankly tell the girl like, hey, I'm not in this spot for the first date. Let's go to X place instead. No, again, when you say, hey, I'm not into this spot for the first date, that's not the truth. The truth is, I don't want to spend, like, here's the truth. I don't want to spend money on this girl that much because I don't know her, right? That's the truth. I don't want to spend money on any girl right away like that when I first meet her, right? That's the truth. Also, the truth is I don't really know her that well, and maybe it's not worth that, right? The other truth is I'm going on a lot of dates. If I did that all the time, I'd be fucking broke. So it's not prudent to do that at all. And wording it as such is a little, you know, would you frankly tell the girl, hey, I'm not into this spot on the first date? That's not frank. That's still nice guy. Yeah, I'm not really into that spot. Like, what, you're not into expensive places? That's bullshit. You're into expensive places. We all are. But it's, you know, but you're like, well, let's go to this other place instead. Like, you don't think that a girl's going to read through that in 5 seconds? If you tell a girl like, hey, I'm not into this, you know, $300 meal spot. I'm not into catch, you know, in the meatpacking district. I'm not into that because that's $450. I mean, even if you said, I'm not really into that spot, let's go to this other spot, and that spot's $100. You think the girl's not going to pick up on that? Like, she's not stupid. She's going to go, oh, he's not into the $400 spot. He's into the $50 spot. Like, she's going to fucking get the idea, and it's going to look worse on you. Like, it's going to look worse that you did that move, which is, hey, let's go wherever you want. Where do you want to go? Oh, the expensive place? No, let's go to the $50 spot. That makes you look cheap, right? But if I tell a girl like, you know what? I'm not going to one of those expensive places. Like, I was thinking like something like $50, you know, $60. Like, I just met you, right? It's a little weird to say it even that way. How would I say it? I would say, I would just offer the spot. Like I said, that's the way I do it. I offer the spot that I know I want to go to that's within my budget, and it's what I want to do, and that's where I go. Hey, I was thinking about going to this spot this week, checking the spot out. You want to roll there with me? That's it. Take it to a fucking chicken spot. It doesn't matter, right? Like, I'll go to the Grove to a little dinner spot I like because they got great spicy chicken, and it's like $15 for a plate. Like, I'll go there, and we'll walk around the Grove. Or I'll go to, like I said, Jones Bar is like a Hollywood staple, and it's like, you know, $50 to $120 for a meal, right, with a couple of drinks. Something like that I'll go to, but I'm choosing the spot for myself, right? So no, don't frankly tell the girl, hey, I'm not in this spot. let's go to this other spot. The process is be frank about who you are and what you want to do. And if she doesn't like it, she goes away. That goes for what you want to do for an activity. That goes for your personality. This falls in the category of like girls buying you drinks, right? Or girls wanting me to buy them drinks, right? So like, oftentimes a girl, like if a girl says, well, you should buy her a drink. Like oftentimes friends will tell me, like if I'm talking to a girl, a friend of the girl will sometimes come up and say, you should buy her a drink. I mean, like, what do I look like? The drink buyer guy? Like, you got the wrong guy for that, honey. Like, I mean, look at this dude over here in this fucking khaki shirt. Maybe he'll buy you a drink, but I'm not that guy, you know? If I bought drinks for every girl I met, I'd fucking be broke as fuck. I'd buy 100 drinks a night. Like, that ain't happening. I mean, just not me, right? Like, so I'll do that. And if I lose the girl for that, fucking great. I immediately axe the girl from my life who expects me to buy her drinks. If that's the beginning, where the fuck is the end at? You know? You didn't do this for me. You didn't do that for me. It's because those expectations are set from the beginning of the relationship, right? You have to set those and continually support those boundaries right away. You got to let that girl know what kind of a guy you are. And that should be a reasonable fucking guy who's not buying $200 dinners. And again, even if you're a guy who has, let's say you have $1 million in the bank just waiting there and you don't really care about that meal, right? And it's not that big of a deal for you. I would hide the fuck out of the fact that you had $1 million so that you don't find the type of girl who responds to that money. Because when you find a girl who responds to money, her response is always the same. Take and take and take, hold the vagina away as long as possible until she takes enough that she feels guilty about taking so much, and then she gives you a small portion of a sexual favor, as little as she believes will keep you going and giving her more shit, right? It is a recipe for not getting laid. It is a recipe for spending a lot of money for not a lot of sex and not a lot of connection and not a lot of what's in a good relationship. So it's a bad idea. All right. Hope that answers that question. So just next time, pick a spot that you're okay with. Like I said, you can take a girl to a spot like that spot I was talking about called One Up. You're like, hey, you want to go to this arcade spot? I've been like, I don't know. I've been like wanting to go to this spot. I heard about it. You just like play some arcade and order an appetizer and have like a couple beers. You know, it's like this arcade bar spot. You want to go? Cool. What girl doesn't want to do that, man? You're going to spend $30 and have a great date and laugh a lot rather than sitting across a fucking white tablecloth. You know, she's, you know, expecting a whole lot of shit from you and you're setting up stuff that doesn't really matter. It's a bunch of fake shit. Don't do it. Be real with the girl about who and what you are and what your expectations are. All right, we beat that to fucking death for a half hour. All right. I'm passionate about that because I've been on so many dates and I've been the guy before who's like my entire 20s, like the first half of my 20s, I was working on jets all the time, and I would go on all these dates, and I would always ask these girls, like, where do you want to go? What do you want to do? And it was never work out. And I've been on 1,000 dates like that, and it's a waste of fucking time. All right. You're like trying to prove yourself and how awesome you are to the girl the whole time and show her, you know, what lifestyle you can give her. When in fact, that's not what you offer. What you offer a girl is your personality and who you are, and a fun time and a sexual like possibility. You offer her like good vibes and sex. That's what you offer as a guy, right? All right. Next question. Date follow-up text messages. How long do you wait before you interact with a girl after the first date? Is it common to contact the girl through text one day after the date to maintain a connection with the girl? Sometimes I get lazy with having too many dates or numbers to text, and I forget to text till like day 4 or even a week later, and I don't hear a reply back from the girl. For example, 7 days after a date ended in a kiss close, I texted the girl yesterday, hey, how's your week going? Hello, how's your week going? She didn't respond back. I'm thinking my text to reestablish connection was weak. or she lost interest as I waited so long to message her. Well, you're right about that. All right. So what we're dealing with when we talk about when to text a girl after the date is a level of connectedness. Okay. So when you first have your first date and you guys are like amping things up, what you're doing is you're spending kind of more and more time together, and you're like amping up your level of connectedness with her. Okay. You're trying to establish patterns of you and her talking and conversing and a connection, right? That's what the date is all about, is establishing a connection through what you're saying and doing, right? So it's important to, I lost my train of thought. Sorry. Oh, we're talking about connectedness after the date. All right. Why did I have a brain fart there? I think it's because I got something in my eye. All right. Should have washed my hands before I did this because I've been carrying around car parts all day. All right. All right. So here's what I'll do after a date. I'll like go on a date with this girl, and we'll have a good time, and we'll go out, and then I'll probably text her. Do I text the next day after the date? When I'm on the date, I'll usually kiss the girl at the end of the date. I'll be like, all right, we'll talk soon. You know, like, all right, we'll catch up soon. I think the same rules apply for right after you meet the girl the first time, right? If you meet the girl the first time and you text her the very next day, it doesn't really like have any tension to it, right? It's very aggressive. I like to text the girl. So let's say we go out on a Friday night, we have a great time. I'll let Saturday go by for sure. Especially if it's the weekend. If we're on a date on like a Tuesday, it doesn't matter if a Wednesday goes by because she doesn't expect you to text her. In fact, if you text her that next day, it's probably even too soon, right? But if you text her the day after, that's fine. Or 2 days after, that's fine. I think, let's say you go out with her on a Wednesday and you want to text her the next day, Thursday would be too soon. Friday and Saturday, you should leave off. And then maybe I text her on Sunday, which is like 4 days later. But I think Monday is too far, right? Or if you go on a date on Monday with a girl for the first date, I'd be texting her on like Wednesday or Thursday. But I wouldn't text her the first time on Friday or Saturday because she's going to expect another date. Or it's going to be too late for you to expect a date, right? She might be afraid like, oh, fuck, this guy's texting me on Friday. He wants to go out tonight. I already have plans. Or maybe she already has another date scheduled. So, you know, if you went on a date on Monday and then you're going to go on another date or you want to go on a date on that weekend, you should be texting that girl Thursday for a date on Friday or Saturday, right? So I would wait. The answer to that is I would wait. I would not text the girl on the first day after the date because that's too eager. I would text her on the second or the third day, unless those days ended up on a Friday or Saturday, in which case I would wait one extra day and text her on that Sunday. And I'd be like, hey, how was your weekend? You know, mine was crazy. What do you got going on this week? You know, I'd flirt, and then I'd be like, oh, what's your schedule like this week? What do you got going on? You know, I was thinking we could do this thing again, right? And then she's going to be like, yes or no, and you're going to do another thing, right? So that's what I would do. I would wait. I would not text her the next day. I would text her at the soonest the second day after the date. So like you go on that date and it's the night. Let's say you go out on a Monday night. The next day is Tuesday. I would not text her on that Tuesday. I would text her the soonest on that Wednesday and the latest on that Thursday, because I don't want to text Friday or Saturday for a variety of reasons. Again, those reasons are she's going to think you're going to ask her out for that night, right? And therefore, she might not even answer your text because she already can't say yes, right? And then you don't know. That's the worst part, is if you don't know why she said no, that's the worst part. We want to know where we stand with the girl. We want to know, like, she didn't go out with me because she didn't like me. We don't want to, like, have a bunch of other reasons that could be infiltrating our game, because then that causes confusion that's unnecessary, right? But if you're like, hey, what's your schedule like this week? I was thinking we'd go to this one-up bar. It's like this arcade thing, you know? You want to go? What's your week look like? And she's like, you know what? I got a really busy week. I can't go. Or if she just gives you a bland excuse, right? Then the answer is, then you're like, okay, maybe this girl doesn't like me. Because girls who like you will say, they'll give you a really valid reason, right? Or they'll ask you to reschedule, or both, okay? So if you're like, hey, what's your schedule like this week? I was thinking we go to this arcade bar I've been wanting to go to. And she's like, no, I can't, I got a really busy week. Okay, that's a bland excuse. That's a blanket excuse. She said no to the whole fucking week, okay? A girl who wants to go out with you doesn't give you a blanket no. A girl who wants to go out with you and can't will say, you know what, I really have a busy week at work, this week because I have this big project that's due, or I'm in school and this week is finals, or I'm going out of town this week for a few days to see my parents. Or she'll give you a valid excuse. She won't just say, nah, it's busy. Nah, I'm busy. A blanket busy with no, like a blanket bland busy excuse is a no. That's I didn't like you enough, right? But a no that says I really do want to hang out with you still, I just can't, that's a yes, but not now. Right? So we want that distinction, and we don't get that distinction if we ask for a specific day, right? Or there's other factors that would, like a Friday or a Saturday night, where she might say no because she already has plans on another date, and or she might not even answer because she's just busy that day. We don't want those factors to come into play at all, and that's why we eliminate Friday and Saturday from this, day 1, day 2, day 3 stuff after the first date. We want to text her on like a Thursday to ask her on, at the latest, to ask her out for Friday or Saturday. So you're right, Ray, when you say that, is it common to contact a girl to text one day after the date to maintain connection? Yes. You are trying to escalate your connectedness when you first date a girl. Ideally, you want to build some momentum. You want to go on the date, have her be excited about it. You don't text the next day because that's needy. And then the second day is it's the same as they say in flawless texting. The second day is like the standard, right? And the third day is the first day is she's going to be like, wow, that date was great. She's going to call her friend. She's going to think about wow, this date was great. Yeah, we went to this place, we did that, whatever. And then, they talk about it. Then if you were to text her during that process, it would be too soon, because she'd be like, whoa, he texted me already. It's eagerness, okay? And we all know how eagerness, if you've been watching the tutorials on the four dating conditions, you would know that eagerness and hanging out has some different effects. And if you are eager with your words and eager with your actions, you can create a condition where you are underqualified for the girl. So that's why I don't want to be too eager by texting her the next day, okay? So if you want to text her the second day, great. If you want to text her the third day, great. But that's what I would probably do, because, again, you want to create momentum. Ideally, you go on a date and then you text her a couple of days later and she's like, wow, this is cool. Wow, things are starting to go, right? And then you're going to go on another date, a couple of days from that. And then you've gone on essentially 2 dates in the first week and maybe a date or 2 in the second week, right? And that's enough to amp things up from 0, but not so much where you're trying to hang out with this girl 3-4 times a week, right? When you first start dating is way too much too soon. People need time, and women need time to adjust to a new person in their life and to think about how that's going to go, right? How is it going to go with you? How is it going to go with this new guy? Is he going to want to hang out all the time, or is he not? Is he really needy, or is he not? Is he just a cool guy and he's busy, or what's going on with him? A girl's going to have all these questions and she's going to get all the answers right away. And if any one of those little things tips her off to, start putting her down the path of oh, this guy's texting me too much, then she'll look at every time you text as further evidence of you texting her too much. And then you're a needy guy and you're underqualified for her, which is bad, right? So the sweet spot is where you can meet with her just enough that you are gaining momentum, but not so much that it trips off her this guy's needy radar. So I think that perfect number is, let's say you went out on a Monday night. Let's say you texted her again on Wednesday and or maybe Thursday, and then you guys plan something for the weekend again. And then after that, you follow up with hey, how was your weekend thing? And then maybe you plan a date for the next Thursday. It's 3 times in 2 weeks, 4 times at the very most. That's what it's supposed to be, right? And think about it. If you went on a date on a Monday, then another date on the following Friday or Saturday, that's still, you guys are seeing it, you guys have been on a date, you've texted on that Wednesday, you know, it's only a day or two at a time where you're like, okay, here I am again. Like, that's enough. You know, 3 to 4 times in 2 weeks is plenty to both gain momentum and also, like, I would say 4 times even seems like, you know, tipping, like you're pushing it if you want to hang out 4 times in those 2 weeks, right? You know, like if you went Monday and then you went Friday or Saturday, and then you texted again Monday and you went out again that Wednesday or Thursday, that'd be 3 times in 2 weeks. That seems to me to be about right. That's what I would shoot for. And you know, then what happens is that third date, you sleep with the girl, right? And then it's the same process again. You can't message her. I generally do message the day after I sleep with the girl the first time. I'll be like, I had so much fun. Last night was so awesome, because the girl needs that reassurance that everything was good and that you enjoyed the sex, right? Because girls are always worried, like, is my vagina weird? Does it look like, you know, a fucking stack of meat pancakes? Like, and he doesn't like that. Like, what the fuck is up? You know, like, a girl always wants to know, like, that the sex was okay and that you liked it, right? She wants to know, like, she's got a million questions. Does this guy like my body? Does he not? Did I do something weird? Did I do too much in sex or not? And she's just filled with too much tension after the first time you have sex, because she's like, you know, I hope he liked it. What's going on? Does he like it? Does he not? So I want to, like, calm her mind after the first time I have sex. And the best way to say it is, hey, I had a great time last night. You know, I really enjoyed it. Let's you know, I got a busy week here for the first part of the week, but let's talk in a couple days and we'll see if we can make something work this week, or whatever it is, right? But she wants to know that everything was okay, so that's why I do text after that. But in general, after the first date, after the second date, after the third date, it's always going to be, like, too needy to text the first day afterwards. Even after sex, sex is right after the first time you have sex. I think it's different because, again, she's got all those, you know, weird feelings and concerns and things going on. But that's kind of the standard. Even after you meet her the first time in the bar, it's still like the next day's too soon, the second day's okay, the third day's also okay, right? Same stuff I wrote in Flawless Texting with longer descriptions and in the tutorial as well. So the problem happens when you go, like Ray's saying, sometimes I get lazy with having too many dates or numbers to text, and I forget to text till like day 4 or even a week later, and I don't hear a reply back. That's because you've lost connectedness with the girl. So 7 days, way too long. She didn't respond back, right? It's different when when you first sleep with a girl and then you sleep with her a second time and then you sleep with her a third time and then you kind of back off to do a once a week hangout thing. That's different because she's way past a hook point, right? When you've had sex with a girl 3 times, you are basically saying, we're going to start having sex more often. So, you know, or on a regular basis, right? You've essentially established a pattern. So when you've established a pattern of having sex and you back off on frequency, that's not going to cause her to go away, right? Because she's invested a lot by having sex with you and she wants things to go further, which is great, right? So you're not going to lose a girl for that, for backing off. But if you, like, have sex with her once and then you don't talk with her for a week, that's not going to be good. Or if you have sex with her and then don't talk with her, or if you go on a first date with her and don't talk for a week, or if you even get her number and then don't talk with her a week. If you get her number and don't talk with her for a week, she's not going to remember who the fuck you are. Shit, she doesn't even remember the next day sometimes, right? That's why we do all that shit with getting her number and putting it in your phone and all that shit. If you go on a first date with the girl and you don't text her for a week, she's going to, like, here's what her thought process will be. The next day she'll be like, great, we had a date. I hope he thought it was good or whatever, you know. She'll call her girlfriend and be like, what's up, you know. I went on this date. How was it? What's going on? Okay, well, hopefully he texts me in the next couple of days. And then when you don't, she's going to go, that guy didn't like me. He thought he was too good for me, or he didn't like me. So then she's like, he didn't like me. And then 3 days later, like the next day after like the third day, that fourth day, she's going to be like, well, I'm going to go back on Tinder and get another date. Or even before that, right? She's going on another date. And then so she goes on that date or she doesn't. And then 2 days later, you're like, oh, hey, by the way, want to hang out again? And she's like, what the fuck? You didn't text me fucking 3 days ago? Right? Like, turn it around and say that, like, you go on a date with a girl and you text her and she doesn't respond for a fucking week. And then she's like, hey, what's up? You're like, what the fuck? That's the same way the girl is, right? So that's not fair to her if you want to go out with her again, especially when you're in a period that's so sensitive to creating connectedness and creating momentum. So Ray says she didn't respond back. I'm thinking my text to reestablish connection was weak. Doubtful. Or she just lost interest because I waited so long to message her. Yes. It's not that she lost interest in you. It's she lost hope. Like interest kind of, well, yeah, interest, I guess. But more so like hope. Like, and you know, the feeling is gone. Like a girl, when she goes on a date with you and she likes the date, she's going to be like excited. She's going to be like, yay, she's going to call her girlfriend, I went on this great date with this guy last night, you know, cool. Well, let's see what happens. And then like those next 2 days are sensitive. You got to text her. If you don't text her, then she's like, well, I guess he didn't like me. I mean, he hasn't texted in 2 days. And her friend's going to be like, really? He didn't text in 2 days? Fuck. Was the date bad? Like, and she's going to go, well, no, I thought it was good. We kissed at the end. I don't know. And then it's kind of like depressing. It's like it's like she was excited about something and now it's gone. And it's like somebody took a shiny toy away from you. And now you're like the kid sitting on the corner with no shiny toy. Like, what the fuck, you know? My day kind of sucks now. So like coming in later is just too little too late. I don't think there's much you could do after that. You like, if I, how about this? If we want to talk about damage control, let's say I found a girl I really like and I went on a date with her and then I didn't text her for a week, I would need a damn good excuse because of all that stuff we just talked about. So the way to go through that damn good excuse is to be like, hey, oh my God, I'm so sorry I didn't text you this week. I had a, you know, significant family issue. Or I wouldn't say it like that. I would say something, I mean, you're going to have to lie. Like, I'd be like, oh yeah, my best friend was in the hospital for a few days and almost died. Or like, you know, I got in a motorcycle accident. What would I say? Something like you have to come up with something plausible. That's a good reason. Be like, you know what? I had this project due at work and I just worked for fucking 12 days, 12 hours straight a day. Still, that's not good enough because you could have texted at any time, right? So, I mean, you're going to have to come up with a very plausible, very believable excuse, right? Some emergency happened and that's why you couldn't text her, or you're just going to lose it. So damage control is come up with a good fucking excuse, and if not, you're going to lose it. That's the damage control for that. So that's kind of it, I think. All right, we got 10 minutes left here. What should I talk about? I know that Bryce was asking me about some storytelling stuff. I don't know if I can talk about that in 10 minutes. Dude, today I was at, I was going to go get some food from Trader Joe's, and instead my buddy called me and he wanted to go to Astro Burger. And I was like, all right, I'll eat this fucking Astro Burger. I had to pick up a car part from him anyways. And we got there and there was this fucking guy. We walked by this guy, this homeless guy. And my buddy goes, hey, Drop Dead Fred. Right. And pointed at this like homeless guy with kind of orange hair who just was sitting on the ground with his legs spread out and just looking really fucked up. Right. And, you know, the kind of guy you walk by and he's like, yeah, and he's like just covered in dirt. And you know, he's asking you for money, but you can't establish any words that he said in the whole sentence. Right. So I walked back by that guy and we ordered some food and we went back outside to eat a burger or whatever. And we're eating this burger and this other chick walks up and she looks like basically they could fall in love, those two. And this is the part where I would stop my story and I would insert some colorful, relevant detail that's probably bullshit about an interaction that they had. Like she walked up and, you know, tripped over his feet and they fought. Or she walked up and I was right. I nudged my buddy. I actually nudged my buddy and I was like, hey man, his wife just showed up. Right. So it didn't happen, but it would be a really funny part of the story if I was going to say like, then this chick just sat down on his lap. His legs were like out like this. And she just rolled one leg over him, sat on his lap, and they just went at it right there on the ground in a puddle of disgusting, like old burgers that were on the ground or something like that, right? So the point I'm trying to illustrate with this story is what I do when I'm telling stories is I take something that happened to me that day, which actually this happened to me today. I went, to go meet my buddy. And then what I do is I go through a process where I use colorful characters, stereotypical characters. I describe them in detail, right? And that establishes kind of the setting. The setting, the characters, I go, hey, here's the setting. Oh, I went to grab a burger with my buddy today, right? And then there was this dude there, this fucking homeless dude. You know the homeless people who are like super dirty, and this guy had like orange spiky hair, but I don't know if it was because it was dirty or if it was like, the guy was obviously on drugs and shit, and he was just laying on the ground like in all the old wrappers of burgers next to the fucking trash thing. Like that's a really colorful, stereotypical character. The guy like slurs his words. And he's asking for change, but you can't figure out what the fuck he's saying because he's so fucked up or whatever. Like that establishes a character, right? Or you can do another character. Like another one came in. We went and ordered a burger, and then when it came out, another one was walking up. It looked like it could be his girlfriend. So I told my buddy, hey, his wife's here. Check it out. His wife's here, right? So now I'm setting up a situation that a girl who looks like his wife is going to walk up. She's also the same way as he is, right? And now they're going to have some kind of an interaction, or something's going to happen, right? So what I'm doing when I tell stories is generally I'm taking something from my day-to-day life, and like this for instance, and I'm doing a setting really quick. That also is trimming the fat, right? I don't need to be. I even said I said too many details at the beginning of this. I could have been like, yeah, I was getting a burger with my buddy today, and this fucking guy was there. I didn't need to say, oh, I was picking up a car part from him and this shit. I could have just taken that shit out, right? So you want to trim the fat. You want to paint stereotypical pictures of, colorful, interesting, stereotypical people, right? That you're painting a picture of them in your person's mind, and then you're going to talk about some interaction that they had with you or with somebody else. That is the format for a story. That and at the end you can put a moral of the story or something you did or said at the end of it based on whatever your intention is for that. Like, yeah, these two just started fucking making out. So I decided I was going to eat my burger elsewhere. Or I decided I was going to buy this guy a burger to get him the fuck out of there. Or whatever it is. Whatever the moral to the story is or the point of it is. But the idea is that you're going to come up with these stories on the fly. Right? And the way to come up with them on the fly is talk about what your day is. Okay. So first, if you're first doing stories for the first time and you want to have a go-to story, you tell that story when you run out of shit to say. And the story generally starts with a hook question, which is, have you ever? I don't generally say those if I'm not, I always said hook questions for years because it draws somebody into your story. So if you're starting this, and you don't just have a magnetic personality right away where you can draw people in no matter what, then you should start with a hook question. Hey, have you ever seen somebody who looks like homeless at a fucking burger place? Or, hey, have you ever, that's it. Have you ever, blah, right? I guess I generally have ditched doing those hook questions because I already have and command people's attention when I talk. So I guess I don't need them. And after a while, you probably won't either. I guess that's why I forgot it today. But I used to do those all the time. So a hook question followed by setting, the setting and your colorful, stereotypical characters, right? We're trimming the fat. We don't need a bunch of details in there. Like I was at 4 p.m. on a Tuesday, and I always go to this place at 4 because on Tuesday they have a sale. And you know what? Today I was parking my car there, and I saw this guy walk by, and so I got out of my car, and I was paying the meter. Also, I had to put my card in the meter like I always do. Like that's too much information. Trim the fat. I was getting a burger with my buddy, and this fucking guy walked by, right? That's what you need to say. So paint the pictures of the colorful people. They have an interaction. It's funny, and then your story's over, right? And there's a moral, or there's not, or there's something you did, or whatever. And you can use that end part to frame yourself a certain way. For instance, let's say this girl, let's say I want this girl to know I'm kind of a badass and I don't give a fuck about, everybody. I would say, like, what I say about how I interact with those people is what's going to demonstrate what kind of a person I am to the girl. And that's why you tell the story, right? You want to make yourself look like a really great dude. You would say, you know what? I wouldn't normally do this, but I bought this guy a burger because I felt really bad for him, right? Or you could say, I told the guy to get the fuck out of my way and he wouldn't, so I threw my fucking Coke at him. Like, fuck him. I don't care if he's homeless and he doesn't have any money. Fuck the guy, right? That would be like you telling the girl, like, wow, this guy like doesn't fuck around. He's just kind of like, yeah, I care about homeless people, but not this fucking guy when he's annoying me all the fucking time, right? That would tell the girl a specific thing about you, right? Or if you said you bought the guy a burger, that tells her a different thing about you. So we can use these types of stories to as secondary identity hooks that tell a girl some personality characteristic about us, right? And that would be the purpose of the story. Also, if you're in your pickup and you're first meeting a girl, it kind of frames you really quickly for a girl, right? It fills up some time. It keeps you from not having anything to say. It helps you be a better character when you're in front of the girl, and it fills up some time if you want to do that. Or like if she's got two friends that walk in who don't know you yet, you could tell a story real quick to get everybody's attention and really let them know what kind of guy you are, right? You'd be like, yeah, this fucking guy, you see that guy over there in the hat? He fucking dumped a beer on me. What an asshole, you know? So I fucking threw my beer at him, and now I'm going to go get a free one because I know the bartender. So fuck that guy, right? That girl's going to get, and people who are around you are going to get a really quick idea of what kind of guy you are. You're going to be like, yeah, fucking idiot doesn't know where he's going, man. People just don't fucking have a general idea of space around them. And those people suck. Fuck those people. I hate people who just aren't aware of what they're doing when they're a little drunk. Like, fucking fuck that guy, dude. That guy can eat shit, right? That kind of a story would tell a girl that you're a guy who doesn't take a lot of shit from people. Well, guess what? Being that brash might be a great way to show a girl that you're not a guy who takes shit from people. And it might be a great way to frame yourself so that she knows or starts to get the idea that you're an alpha male. You're not worried about pleasing everybody, and you're not worried about people being mad at you or angry at you or any of those things, right? So that's a little tiny storytelling tidbit. And I know I haven't gotten to the storytelling tutorial yet. So that's why I wanted to throw that in today for you, Bryce. I hope you like that. And what else is going on? I guess that's about it for today. We've done about an hour. I told you guys about storytelling. I'm sure I've put it in one of these other sessions before, but the principles are still the same. They always work. I like to add that you talk about something that happened in your day and then kind of manipulate the end of the story for your own benefit. Remember, the point of the story is that, some people had a social interaction and it was funny, and either they interacted together and you had an opinion about what happened, or that you interacted with one of them and that demonstrates a characteristic about you, something about that. That's what's really going on when you tell a story. And you're doing it in a way that keeps everybody's attention, right? That's about going to be it, I guess, for today. So thanks, guys, for watching. As always, I will see you guys in the month of April. April's coming up. That's about it. I guess I'll see you guys next week. Thanks for watching.